30 Minutes with Ron. Welcome to 30 Minutes with Ron. I'm the aforementioned Ron Gagliardi, and I have a guest today that I don't even know. His name is Ken Lesser, and he's the mayor of Wethersfield. Wow, I just met him on the telephone, and you're about to meet him in person, almost. Ken, welcome.
I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
I was looking forward to this.
Me too.
I've never interviewed someone I've never met, so this could be fun.
I hope I don't disappoint you.
I can tell just by our small conversation here that there's no disappointment coming. One of the things I'm interested in, what are you doing currently? I remember you told me you're retired, but you're still working in some capacity. What are you doing? Where is it?
Well, first off, I have the best job in the world. Being mayor of Wethersfield is a 24/7 job, and it's the best job I've ever had. I retired from finance about a year and a half ago, career in finance, and I also teach a class at Capital Community College, which I love doing, but it's a lot of work.
I'll bet. Where is that located?
That's in downtown Hartford. It's in the old Sage Allen building. Excuse me, the old G. Fox building.
I remember that building.
Yeah.
They used to have some beautiful displays in there.
Beautiful displays, beautiful staircase, men's and women's clothing. It was beautiful back in the 50s and 60s and 70s. Yeah, it's a nice building.
I was a window dresser.
You were?
Yes. I've had over 130 jobs, believe it or not.
130 jobs. What's the best one?
Teaching elementary art for over 30 years.
Teaching elementary art.
That's like not working at all. It's
Yeah.
so much fun.
You like kids?
I do, and I had a superhero a character called Art Man.
Art Man.
I wore tights, I had a cape. It was great fun. But
You dressed up as Art Man.
But not every day, but yes. Yeah, I dressed up as Art Man.
Yeah. I might have to dress up as mayor. I don't know what that looks like.
Yeah,
Other
you
than
have to
maybe put in a jacket.
Figure that out. Maybe one of those top hats from like English folks have. All right, so that's your current job, because it's not a real job.
I do not get paid being mayor.
Right. That's a shame. That's more work.
Yeah, no, it's a volunteer job. It is a lot of responsibility, but I love it.
Okay.
So you get paid a lot in the heart.
That's a good spot to get paid in. Where do you Where's your origin? Where do you come from?
Yes, I was born in Stamford, Connecticut, and grew up most of my life in Newington, which is the second best town in Connecticut, Wethersfield being the first, of course, because I view my job, and we can talk about that, as being the head cheerleader for Wethersfield.
Yes.
I will not do a cartwheel in front of your audience because I would probably break a leg and it would embarrass.
Can you do them?
No.
Oh.
No. When I mean head cheerleader, I mean cheerleading for the town.
Right. I always wanted to be a juggler.
Yeah. Can you do that?
I'm not sure how well I can do it now, but
well, maybe you can next time bring in something to juggle, and I will practice a cartwheel.
That could be fun.
Yeah.
I thought there's two kinds of people in the world: people who can juggle and people who can't juggle.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go over to the juggler side.
It's good to have a goal like that.
Yeah. So I started a circus school.
Is that true?
Yeah. And my kids were enrolled. They learned how to juggle. I learned how to juggle. Some of the kids learned ballerina or
there's an actual
high wire.
circus school that you joined. I know there's a clown school.
Yes, Florida, I think.
But I didn't know there was a circus school for juggling.
Well, it was just our town. Well, actually, it was Wallingford where I was working at the time.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
And, some guy had a gym. I went to him with the idea, and we had a circus school.
Fantastic.
But who cares about my circus school?
Well, that was interesting.
You're the guest. I want to know more about you. Okay, so you were in Wethersfield. You are at Wethersfield now, but you were in Newington.
Correct.
Okay. So what brought you from Newington to Wethersfield?
My wife, who said, we need a bigger house. I'd like to move out of Newington. And like all great decisions that have been made in the last 24 years of my life, my wife found the house, found the town, and the rest is history.
Same with me.
Yeah. We've been there 14 years in Wethersfield. We have 3 daughters. But we love Wethersfield, and I love being involved in the community. It's great.
Well, what made you decide to go from finance into politics?
Yeah, so I've always believed in public service. I've always given back, and when I was in Newington, I was on the town council and school board, so I was active there. Didn't know too many people in Wethersfield, had gotten out of politics before we moved. But again, my wife said, you know, you like being involved. Why don't you get yourself out of the house and maybe volunteer for some committees and get involved in stuff. You enjoy that. Nice. You'll meet a lot of people. So like I said, all great things that are responsible come from her. Don't tell her I said that.
No, don't. Shh, don't. So I assume you got into Democratic politics.
Yes, I'm a Democrat. You know, most of us get our party affiliation from our parents, and my parents
Yeah.
were Democrats, and I'm a proud Democrat. But I like to say that when you're in office, I have 27,000 bosses. That's the people in town. And when they call me and they have a problem, pothole, whatever, I just got a call about graffiti on a building, and they wanted me to come look at it. This is earlier this week, and I did. But I don't ask, are you a Republican, an unaffiliated,
Good.
Democrat? You just solved the problem.
Right.
You shouldn't govern with party. You get elected with a party, and
Yep.
yes, I am a Democrat, and a proud Democrat.
Excellent. So give me an example of your average day. When do you go in? When do you leave? What do you do?
Yeah, so my average day, I get many emails and phone calls and have several meetings a day. I'll give you an example for this
Okay.
afternoon.
Yep.
After this, I have a meeting with the town manager. Then I have a meeting with the Senior Citizen Advisory Committee. Then I have a meeting with the Insurance Committee. Those are all Thursday afternoon today. And then at night I have another meeting. So I'm quite busy, but it's a fun busy. And I like to say I've always believed in giving back. It's one of the most important things we can do. I've done it my whole life. But I'm really in the give back phase of my life where I'm not really, other than teaching one class, I'm not really working, so my focus is on helping others.
And I can't say I'm assuming you like meetings. Do you like meetings?
I like short meetings that are to the point and that they accomplish something. People will know me that I don't like meetings more than an hour.
People tend to kind of lose their impetus, I guess, would be.
Well, so there's a diminishing returns when you're there a long time, you're tired. I will say I'm very positive. You heard me say I love my job. We're in a challenging environment today, and when we have critical issues, I love this democracy. I love people coming to our meetings. These are specific town council meetings, and giving their point of view.
Yep.
Now, sometimes they do that and the meeting lasts hours, and sometimes they could be more respectful. I'm hoping people will get more and more respectful over time. I say that every meeting. When I say it's time for public comment, I ask you to please be respectful and don't criticize people directly.
When do you place the public comment?
We have 2 public comment sessions in our meeting, one at the beginning of the meeting and one at the end, and they're 5 minutes each.
That's nice.
Yes.
I hadn't heard of that before.
And they're our meetings are well attended. The people in Wethersfield really care about what's happening, and they're not shy about telling us.
Well, that's good.
Yes, for the most part.
Yeah. Well, I like meetings for a number of reasons, one of which is it's more fun than television. I look upon every meeting that I'm in as entertainment for me, and these people have all learned their lines just for me to see if I want to enjoy what they're saying.
Yeah, that's very interesting because I had a good friend who was watching the town council meeting home one night instead of the UConn game, and he's a big UConn fan, and he says, these are more entertaining for me with all the people, complaining about this issue or that and watching how you guys handle it.
Yep.
It's kind of entertainment for me, he said. I said, well, that's interesting. If I was home, I'd be watching the UConn game. So I told him I would not be watching the council meeting.
That's cool. Are these aired live or on some kind of other method?
They are aired live, and then you can watch them on YouTube after whenever you want. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so what's your favorite part of the meeting?
The end. No, just kidding. I use that joke sometimes if we go to a bad movie, with my family or something I don't enjoy as much. My girls might ask, what is your favorite part, Dad? And I'll say the end. So no, my favorite part of the meeting is something we can talk a little bit more about, is something that we do a few meetings a year, and it's probably one of my favorite things I've been involved in, or favorite things I've got to initiate as mayor, and that is a Kid Mayor program.
Great.
So the goal of this, Ron, is to teach young people about democracy with a little bit of a flavor or a special emphasis on local government.
Yep.
So we have when I say we, the chair of the Board of Education and myself have an essay contest about being a kid mayor or a kid, if you want to improve the schools, a kid Board of Education chair. And every school has one, and then they read their essay, the winning essay. Yep. We read them, and we choose a winner for the elementary schools. And they come to the meeting and they read them and they sit in my seat. And
wow.
It is an honor for me to do this program, and I know the kids get a lot out of it. I initiated it last year. This is the second year. Mm-hmm. And it's you asked me what the most fun part of the meeting is, me getting out of my chair and listening to these young people talk about what they would do for Wethersfield.
Do you get to communicate with them at other times of the year?
And we do other things with them. Last year we brought them to the state capitol. I had one particular elementary school student who had they all have good ideas, such a wonderful idea of connecting seniors with young people and mutually benefit. She wrote a beautiful essay,
Nice.
unlike what a sixth grader, I think she was a sixth grader at the time, our elementary schools are K through 6, she was a sixth grader. I mean, she wrote it like she was a high schooler, very intelligent kid. And we sat down after with her, the principal of her school, the chair of the school board, and myself to kind of flush out her idea a little more. So yeah,
Nice.
it's terrific.
Are you doing anything that you want to talk about that you think the people in Wethersfield need to know from you?
So the people in Wethersfield, and most of them know this because I hear from them, we are doing the budget right now. And the budget needs to be passed by state statute by May 15th, which gives us a little less than a month. And we are trying to be as careful and as fiscally responsible as we can, but still providing the service. That's the balancing act. I always say a budget is a statement of your priorities. And my priorities is to continue to fund key important services while being respectful and keeping the tax rate as low as possible. And that's a juggling act.
Oh, yeah.
So they know, the people of Wethersfield are very well aware of that. But I will tell you something else that I want to tell. They already know this. You're going to find this interesting,
All right.
I think, that we're having happen on May 2nd in Wethersfield. So in a couple weeks, perhaps you want to come. We are showing a private screening of the Willie Pep movie. Do you know Willie Pep?
Yes, he was my father's favorite boxer.
Your father's favorite boxer. So you know Willie Pep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Willie Pep won 241 fights. He won more fights than any featherweight in history and is in the top 10 of all boxers for the most victories. And this chronicles a certain part of his life. It's a documentary, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, he wasn't one of those giant boxer people. He was more diminutive, wasn't he?
That you remember perfectly, Ron. He was much smaller than me, maybe your size, maybe even smaller. I don't know his exact height and weight. He was diminutive, to use your word. But he was a championship fighter from Hartford, lived in Wethersfield, and there's a scene filmed at the Macris Diner, which you ought to go to. It's a good diner in Wethersfield.
All right.
So we're showing a private screening. We're having the writer come and talk to us. And Willie Pep's mom was played by a Wethersfield woman. She will be talking. She spoke Italian in the film.
Sì, va tutto bene.
It sounds like you speak a little Italian.
I was going to be a language teacher.
But you went to art instead?
Well, I had French, Italian, Latin, and Spanish. When I got to Spanish in college, I found out I really didn't know anything about all of those languages.
Yeah.
So I wasn't going to be able to teach anybody anything. Plus, I wasn't doing too well in math.
Yeah.
So I looked in the college catalog, and I said, what doesn't have any math? Oh, art. I think I'll be an art major. So in the middle of my sophomore year of college, never having had an art course, I became an art major.
And the rest is history, because you taught art
I
for
did, yeah.
32 years or something, 30-something years?
Somewhere in there, yeah.
Yeah.
I fortunately,
You
I
know
had some
what
talent.
Earth, you know what art without earth is?
Eh?
That's right. You've heard this before.
No.
The world is without art.
Wow.
Yeah, it's great that you were an art teacher. I appreciate everyone who teaches. I'm trying my lot at teaching at the college level, but my wife is a reading tutor, and she loves what she does, but it's a challenge.
Oh, yeah.
Working with young people.
Getting through is sometimes.
Yeah. I love teaching. I love teaching at the college level. The students are fantastic. It's a fun job.
Yes. Now let's get back to you a little bit.
Yeah.
So what were you doing as a youngster and into high school?
What was I doing? Staying out of trouble, I guess. You know, I went to Newington High School, grew up in Newington, and with an older brother and sister. But I like sports. I played baseball, and I'm a big UConn basketball fan. Who isn't here?
Oh,
in
yeah,
Connecticut?
right. You gotta be.
I love it. I go to several games. I wish I went to the women's Final Four. Was not able to go this year, but I've been in the past.
Nice.
So, and then I went to the University of Connecticut, got a master's at Central Connecticut, so I'm all local. My wife is a singer as well as a reading tutor. She's been to the Ukraine. She worked for Tokyo Disney. I tell people I've been to Enfield. I've been to New Britain. She's been all over the world. She's far more interesting than I am. Her singing, her voice has taken her all over the world. I've been taken to, some towns in Connecticut.
Well, in case they don't know her, please introduce her to us.
My wife is Cindy Lesser, and my
Maiden name?
Maiden name, she's from North Carolina, her Zier, and there was a tough one because of Z. She was last in everything. Those days, everything was alphabetical. So she was last to graduate, last for all this. But my wife is a singer and a reading tutor.
Nice.
And an excellent wife and mother.
I'll bet. Speaking of mother, why don't you introduce us to your children?
I have 3 daughters, Rachel, Lauren, and Allie. And the interesting fun fact, Rachel is getting married next week. Next week.
Wow.
Yeah. And I have 3 daughters, which is why if you look closer, you'll see all the gray hair. I have 3 girls, but they're fantastic. That's Rachel. She's a lawyer in Washington, D.C. Lauren is a school teacher in Glastonbury. And my baby, Allie, your listeners are going to find this interesting, is a business and fashion major at Marist College. We just went to Marist. But what they're going to find interesting is Allie, so she's 19, and I have a TikTok together.
Nice.
Do you know TikTok?
I do.
Okay.
Yes.
The TikTok is called Dress My Dad. And Dress My Dad is a before and after. All the terrible outfits that don't match that I wear. My wife is fashionable. My daughter is very fashionable. So she'll say, Dad, I really don't like that outfit. Let's look in your closet. Let's put something. So she'll film the first minute or two with me in an outfit that doesn't match, that looks terrible. And this is my dad. And then she'll say, I've picked out this outfit. Isn't it better?
Nice.
And so it's Dress My Dad. And we have about 3 or 4 views on it. I mean, not a lot of people.
Wow, that many.
Yeah, it's really well. No, it's a few people have looked at it. It's been great.
That's cool.
And it's all my daughter's doing. Dress My Dad.
Okay.
I need a lot of help.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
Not from today's.
Well,
yeah,
she
fathers,
probably would
know.
approve of this because it's basically, this is an easier one to do.
Okay. So now when you went to college,
Yeah.
did you play baseball in college?
No, and I went like a century ago. I went a long time ago. I did not play baseball at UConn Stores. I played at UConn West Hartford. I went to the branch campus for 2 years and 2 years Stores, and I loved both experiences. They were very different. Lived at home. I did play baseball, and then went up to, I was not good enough to play on the main campus with the big guys.
And was your major or something in finance?
My major was political science, and then I got a master's in business and organizational management. I've always loved business, but my true passion is public service. I believe we all should do things to help other people. We all should help those that may be a little less fortunate than us.
Right.
I believe that's something we always should be giving back. So I really like politics. It's a challenge, but I really like it. And today it's become more challenging, but still an opportunity to do good things for people. And that's why I'm in it.
I agree.
Yeah.
I have a suggestion for you.
I'll take it.
No, I'm sure you won't.
Well, listen to it.
Or you'll listen to it. Good. Okay. My daughter got married.
Yeah.
And I decided as a cartoonist, I teach cartooning, I do cartooning. I'm not that great, but I'm kind of a
Probably know
cartoony
Bob
mind.
Englehart.
That's a good person to know.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're a cartoonist.
I'm a cartoonist, and I decided, I got to do something cartoony at the wedding without something, I don't want to make it something that they'll really hate me for the rest of their lives for. So I thought, I know what, I'll make some word balloons on cardboard, big ones, saying things like, congratulations, we love you. So in some of the photos, I'm holding those up with the bride and the groom. And
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
did they know ahead of time?
Yeah.
They did.
Oh, no, well, that I don't know.
Did you surprise them? Because I think my daughter wouldn't like that. She would like it, but she wouldn't like it as a surprise.
I don't remember if I did that, if I surprised them or not.
You have a lot of talents. You're very creative.
Well, I try to hide that because people want to slap me.
Yeah, I have no creative ability. Unfortunately, my wife does, and it works well. My wife is very spontaneous, and I tend to be more boring. I'm very habit-driven, and my wife is the opposite. That's why we get along so well.
Okay.
But she's creative like you. You are very creative.
Wow.
Arts and cartooning, it's fantastic.
I'm honored that you noticed that happened.
I'm listening. I try and teach my students listening skills, good eye contact, good speaking skills. It's all part of business communications, which is what I teach in college.
Nice.
Yeah.
I can tell you, though, I did something at the wedding arrangements that I don't think I told anyone about. I have a bicycle that clowns often ride in circus parades. They're about kid size. And so when there's an adult on one of these things, it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
So I decided, I won't do this at the wedding, but maybe at the supper.
The reception.
Well, no, not well, that's part of the wedding. No, this was the night before at the
rehearsal dinner.
Rehearsal dinner, that's what they call it, yeah.
Yeah.
So I left the group, and I got the bike out of my trunk, and I rode the bike into the group. People looking like, oh my God, he's escaped from the asylum. This is terrible. Yeah, they weren't too happy about that, but they did giggle a little.
How did your daughter take that?
Well, she was kind of used to what Daddy does over the years.
Yeah, you have a good sense of humor.
Well, I don't know if the term would be good, but it's different.
It's creative. Everything about you is creative. My sense of humor is terrible dad jokes, and I'm always telling them and puns. But you've taken a lot of stuff to a better, different level, and it's very creative.
Well, thank you. I pay him to say that, by the way.
Yeah, it's all true. I'm
That's
enjoying
true.
learning
Of course.
about you.
Well, I'm also a punster,
Yeah.
and I do the cartoons and I do the terms for the words in the cartoons. And I decided I was going to be sometime in my life, I wanted to be a stand-up comedian, which ain't the easiest thing to do.
Who's your favorite comedian?
Robin Williams.
Okay, I like Robin Williams. Jerry Seinfeld for me.
He's also very good. But
Yeah.
Robin had a kind of an amazing attitude toward things, and he
He was a physical comic.
he was something else.
Yeah, he would use his body and his body language and he put
Yeah.
sad story about him. But
I know that Louis, whatever that thing is, yeah. But I did get an opportunity to be a stand-up comedian. And it was a contest on a radio station, and they said, send us your favorite joke. And if we like it, you'll get to come and be a comedian someplace. So I happened to be listening to the radio that day. Never listened to it I didn't all the time listen to it, but that day I did. So I sent in a joke, and that next day I got a message on my answering machine. Mr. Gagliardi, we love your joke. We are inviting you, you win the contest, we're inviting you to the Joker's Wild Comedy Club on Wednesday night to give us your 6 minutes of stand-up. And I thought, oh wow, that's great, I'm gonna be a stand-up comedian. And then I said, wait a minute, I don't have 6 minutes of stand-up.
yeah.
What am I going to do for that? It was 2 days later, too. So first of all, I decided I'm not going to ask anyone in the family to come and see this, because the rush to figure out how to get an excuse not to come would be a great rush. So I did it all on my own. But what I did, and I can teach now you and anyone else how to be a stand-up comedian in probably less than 60 seconds. Go online, type in jokes.
Yeah.
When my friend did this, she got 600 jokes. And she must have had a good budget for paper, because she printed out all of the jokes. So I said, okay, I'm going to do that. And I'm going to do something else that I do, an A to Z list. If you ever want a creative way to deal with life, you write the A to Z list vertically down the side of a page, try to come up with something for each letter. So now I had my list, that was my 6 minutes. I went there, I titled myself Gagman the Geezer Guy.
Gagman the Geezer Guy.
Gagman the Geezer Guy. I wore one of those flat hat that geezer wear.
Did you get some laughs?
Well, I got mostly laughs.
Yeah.
And
That's what
here's
a
how I
comedian
did
wants
it.
to do. That's what they feed off.
I didn't want to bother with trying to memorize these things.
Yeah.
I don't like to have to do segues. So I said, here's what I'm going to do. And I'll make believe you're the crowd. Okay, you yell out your favorite letter, and I'll read that joke.
B.
And if it's funny, thank you. And if it's not funny, it's your fault. I forget what B was, but
That's
yeah.
okay. No, I like it. So that went over well, that
Yeah.
kind of routine.
Got my 6 minutes.
Maybe you still have a career in stand-up.
I was hired a couple other times.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I would make me very, very nervous. I give you a lot of credit. You have done a lot of unique and different things that's what makes life interesting. But I want to tell you before why you should come to Wethersfield.
Tell me.
Okay.
Yes.
First off, we have Bikes on Main coming in a couple weeks. It's for the entire month of May, and we'll have over 50 bikes decorated, lined on Main Street. It looks beautiful. And then I'm going to tell you at the same time, we are the largest cultural and historic district in the state, and we have a few claims to fame along that line.
What?
Did you know that George Washington slept 4 nights in Wethersfield?
Did not.
Yeah. Do you know how I know that? I was there.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's kind of a dad joke.
Yeah,
So in 1781, in May of 1781, George Washington slept in Wethersfield, Connecticut. There's a plaque, a house you can go. There's a little museum. And he planned the most pivotal battle of the Revolutionary War. It was actually called, or is called, the Wethersfield Conference. He planned it with a guy, you might have heard this name, Rochambeau. We have a Rochambeau Bridge.
I'm working with him.
Well, he's...
No, I'll tell you later. If we
So
have time.
George Washington spent 4 or 5 days, slept in Wethersfield, and planned this conference, the pivotal battle. Big claim to fame.
Yeah.
Another claim to fame is we have the oldest continuous volunteer fire department in the United States.
Holy mushrooms, Batman.
Since 1803. You know how I know that? I was there.
You were there.
My kids thought, did you grow up with Lincoln? Did you have a quill pen? They always think I'm old. When they were little, Dad, you're so old. And I'm obviously older now. But
You were on your that was
so
on your
that's
bucket
why
list.
these jokes continue about I knew
Yeah.
the Washington.
You know that.
Yeah. So these are some claims to fame. We also have scarecrows on Main in the month of October. And then I'm going to tell you another fun part of my job.
Wait,
that you'll,
tell our audience.
Okay, I'll tell you another fun part of my job. I got a handwritten letter, 2 of them, short letters. I actually brought them today, from a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old. Okay, they wrote them. You could tell by the handwriting. They're short. And what they did is they wrote to me asking for, it's like scarecrows on Maine, but can we have snowmen on Maine? Can we do something in January? This is their idea.
Nice.
So what did I do? I formed, what do we always do in government?
Committee.
We formed a committee.
Yeah.
But here's the unique thing. We put the 6-year-old and the 9-year-old on the committee with a bunch of us old folks like me. And we have the 6-year-old and the 9-year-old on the committee. And we are looking at deciding together how we are going to do these snowmen on Maine this coming winter.
Nice.
So we're very excited. But the idea came from 2 very young residents, young constituents, with a handwritten note. You don't get many of those today.
No.
It's social media, it's texting, all that stuff. They sent me a handwritten note. I'm sure Mom or Dad helped them, but it was definitely in their handwriting. It was their idea. The mom told me
Nice.
it's their idea. So this is the kind of thing I love about me and Mayor.
Yeah.
And they're on the committee. We meet once a month. They speak.
Wow.
Pretty cool, right?
I like it. Yes. They must have a case of diarrhea. They keep on flowing.
Idea. That's a good one. I'm going to tell that to my wife. She'll appreciate that.
I say that a lot. Some people want to slap me, I think,
Yeah.
but I think it's fun.
I think it's funny. Yeah.
When I said I'm working with Rochambeau, in Middlebury, that he had an encampment there.
Yeah.
Yes, and they were having.
And you're a reenactor.
I've never done that.
Oh, I
I've
thought you
covered
were.
it.
We talked about this a little bit before, but not maybe reenacting, but maybe you're covering it.
I'll have to work on that.
Yeah. Rochambeau, though, finish. 'cause I
Yes.
know
So
we're
anyway,
running out
they're
of time. I
having
want to hear this.
Yes, they're having a monument created. A friend of mine who's an artist is doing the sculpture right now, and I was talking to one of the guys on the committee last night, and I came up with this line during the meeting. Just jumped in, row, row, Rochambeau, marching up the hill. So I actually started doing a Rochambeau song
Yeah.
that they may even get to sing at the event.
I'm so impressed with your creativity. These
Well,
things
gee.
just come into your head.
Yeah.
You know,
I didn't even pay him for this, ladies.
Yeah,
and
no,
gentlemen.
that's impressive. My thing's coming out. What are we going to do on the budget? You've got a much more creative mind, which is great.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Now I see that we're almost ending, because
Yeah.
it's about 2 minutes here. Any closing comments for the audience?
Well, first of all, thank you. 30 minutes with Ron flew by. I loved it, and I want everyone to come to Wethersfield, shop in our stores, eat in our restaurants. Come say hello to me, and thank you very much.
All right, you're very welcome. Thank you for being here. You are a delightful guest.
And you are a delightful host.
All right, shake hands.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And folks, thanks for tuning in.